Hi everyone! So today I'm going to tell you about my stay at the Freehand in downtown Los Angeles. I'm sitting in my room right now. I have had the best time at this hotel. It has such great value, honestly better than some of the luxury hotels that I've stayed at. And of course I'm going to tell you all about why that is a little bit later. A couple examples though, the rooftop pool, absolutely stunning, incredible views of downtown Los Angeles. There's a bar right next to the pool where they have great food, great happy hour deals, beautiful views, beautiful vibes. You're also going to be walking distance to some of the best attractions in Los Angeles. Especially if you're a sports fan, you're going to want to stay in a place like this. And finally, the hospitality was unmatched. Every single person treated me like royalty here. They were so kind and wonderful and helpful. And yeah, I absolutely would recommend this to anyone. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why I love my stay here so much. But first, we're going to go back in time to when I first checked in yesterday, and I'm going to give you a room tour, go over all the little details of my room. So I'm going to take you there right now and we'll be back in just a moment. All right, checking into room 509. This is the deluxe king room at the Freehand Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. We're in the old historic district. First thing I noticed about this room is the light. I mean, this is so beautiful to me. I love how there's 4 giant windows. And if we go out here, it is very bright, sorry. Even though we don't have the light like coming directly in, you can see out here, because we have these big bright white buildings outside, it reflects in here and just gives you a really nice light all day long. So, some very cool old architecture out here. And then on this side, we got this beautiful corner room, which is really nice. We got some like apartment buildings. The windows are a little bit dirty, but you can still see everything super well. And we're right next to this really old neon sign, which I'm excited to see later in the evening. Anyway, those are the windows. Coming around here, you have a nice workspace. If you come here and plan on doing some remote work, I think this is a really good little spot. There's nothing crazy going on, but lots of room to spread out all your stuff, your laptop, books, whatever. Got a nice TV if you want to sit down and watch that later. This king size bed I think is really nice. I felt it already. It feels pretty comfortable. Doesn't feel like super luxury or anything, but I'll report back on that tomorrow. On the sides of the bed, got this old kind of like stereo thing. I'm not really sure what it is, but I think you can hook up your Bluetooth to it, which is kind of cool. Places to plug in, and it's the exact same on the other side. But yeah, just like a nice little side table. The bed is quite low. That's something to note if that's something that you don't like. If you're someone who prefers a much higher bed, just something to note. I have no issues with that. I like low beds. Apparently all of the artwork in here is from local artists, so kind of cool. We got this kind of fun stuff above the bed made by local LA artists. It's a full-length mirror, which is nice if you're getting ready. Little stool here. And then this sitting area by the windows is really nice. If you have people over, I mean, these are pretty small little areas, little chairs, but you could definitely have 4 people chilling out here. Some people sitting on the bed if you want to hang out. And then like this carpet, you can kind of tell it's not super nice. It looks pretty old, but I don't know. I like the feel in here a lot. It's very vintagey. Okay, so. Oh, also, this is kind of nice. You have like a gazillion places to hang stuff up. So if you got your little bags, you can just put those there. Open up the closet. Don't mind all the bags that we have here. These are all of ours. But there's an ironing board if you need to iron your clothes. There's one of these little suitcase holders. A couple of hangers for your stuff. There's a safe right here if you want to lock up your belongings. And then a little iron here. So quite a small closet space, but it's got some stuff going on. Now I'll show you the bathroom. I honestly love the bathroom. It makes me feel so nostalgic. It feels like you're walking into like your middle school bathroom, which maybe some people wouldn't like, but I think it's adorable. got the very old like 70s tile with the yellow and the green color scheme going on. But you got double sinks here. Not a ton of room to put out, like if you have makeup and everything, not a ton of room to put makeup out. But you got a little bit going on with these little glass things. There's two of you. Kind of nice to each have your individual sinks. Standard toilet. Another gigantic window with all this light coming in. You kind of see the views outside. Ooh, sorry, there's like a spider web there. Spider web's not inside, by the way. I'm sure it's very hard to clean the windows on this gigantic building, so that's one thing that I noticed, that the windows look a little grimy, but again, it does not bother me. Hopefully it doesn't bother you. They got these like old lamps. Let me see when I turn it on. It's like this. Oh, yeah. Nice warm lighting. I like it. It's definitely, like I said, like you can see, it's a much older feeling in here, but it feels very clean. I like it. I'm very comfortable. They have a nice bath mat here, some towels. Here's the shower. They have free from, oh, I think that's not, I'm gonna see what the actual brand of this is. I think it's called Free From. I'm gonna look into the ratings on that later, but it's nice that they have those toiletries. Let's check the power of the shower. Oh, it's pretty nice. Doesn't seem like it's like a super strong water pressure, but it's not weak by any means, so that's nice. Anyway, okay, that's the bathroom. I don't think that there's like a hair dryer or anything included, but if I find anything later, I'll let you guys know. Anyway, super spacious, lots of room, definitely an older vibe, but I love the windows so much. I feel like I could hang out in here all day. Anyway, one last little thing. Yeah, you got a phone here and you got the TV remote. Really nothing else to report on, I think, but yeah, this is the deluxe king room at the Freehand. See you later. All right, so now you've seen all the details of my deluxe king suite, which has been so lovely. And I actually looked on the website, and this exact room I think is what they used as like the model for their photos, because it has the exact same artwork. It's the same corner spot. So I feel very lucky to have gotten this room. It's room 509 for future reference. Yeah, just 4 giant windows. There's a giant window in the bathroom I showed you before. I love the lighting in here. It's fantastic. It just feels so nice to wake up and throw open all the windows and just have these glorious views of downtown all around. So this hotel actually used to be the old stock exchange building, but it's really cool because they have all this incredible old architecture. There's really beautiful old tile floorings. The ceilings are all painted gorgeously. They have the clocks from different cities around the world above the elevators. So they definitely keep a lot of the charm of the old building here in the hotel today. So let's go over the pros of the hotel. So the moment I showed up, the valet guy was so kind. He took our car. It's about $60 a night, but it's really nice because you can go in and out as many times as you want. So if you're staying downtown, 1000% you have to valet the car because first of all, there's not very many parking spots on the streets here. It's very limited. And second, just for the sake of safety, you want to have your car locked up in the garage all night. Now, the rooftop pool was my favorite part of the entire stay. We went up there multiple times yesterday in the afternoon when we first arrived and then for sunset. I'm about to go up there after I film this video too, just to hang out and enjoy it. The space is not super big, but they have tons of seating all around the pool with these really cute pink cabanas, pink umbrellas everywhere. And then there's a little bit of division between the pool and the bar area. The bar is called Broken Shaker. We went there for dinner last night and it was so lovely. They have really great happy hour deals, really good tacos that we had, tacos and guacamole. They had beautiful cocktails. I myself did not get one, but they were tempting. And again, the hospitality there, all the bartenders and the servers were so sweet to us. But just sitting there and enjoying the sunset on the rooftop with the pool there all lit up, and then these pink cabanas everywhere and people just enjoying their time with the music playing around us. It was such a wonderful environment. So I really loved that, and I could see just bringing anyone there and them falling in love with downtown Los Angeles. The hotel has multiple on-site restaurants, well, restaurants, bars, coffee shop. So upstairs, Broken Shaker is the bar by the pool, also a restaurant.
Downstairs, they have the Exchange restaurant. I got to go in there yesterday. It was actually closed, but I got lots of footage of it. It's a beautiful restaurant. It's actually right outside the main entrance is where the massive Exchange neon sign is, which apparently is the largest one in downtown Los Angeles, which is kind of a cool fun fact. So it's kind of an ode to the building's old reputation as the Exchange building. And they have a very extensive menu. They're open kind of at weird hours, so check their website just to make sure that if you want to go there, it's open when you are staying here. Because like, for example, we were here on a Sunday and it wasn't open then. And then they have kind of fluctuating times between the rest of the week and then Friday, Saturday. But they also have that as like a coffee shop, the Exchange coffee shop, which I'm going to go down there and work on all of my videos for you guys here in just a moment.
Pistachio latte.
Thank you.
There's also Rudolph's Bar, which is really interesting. It looks so cute. We didn't actually get to get any cocktails, but they have tea-infused cocktails, which I thought was really cool. And that's in the main lobby. The main lobby is beautiful, by the way. It feels like you're in an old ski lodge. Like it's got these great big wooden structures all around. There's tons of seating, and then this really low, dim, warm lighting. So it just feels very cozy. The moment you set foot in this hotel, everything feels very comfortable and very stylish. I just love the way that they decorated it. So those are all the places to go out and eat here. Again, though, you're in downtown Los Angeles, so there are tons of restaurants, bars, cafes, coffee shops. Everything you can possibly imagine is here. I have never really explored downtown. I never come down here. Downtown, honestly, it gets a bad rap, and I understand why. There are areas of downtown that are a little sketchy, maybe not the cleanest, but then there are parts of downtown that are absolutely bustling with people and life and people going to work and people visiting for sports and you name it. So this is definitely one of those areas. This is the commercial district. It's also, well, it's right on the cusp of the commercial district and the historic district. Some of the things that are close by, for example, Crypto Arena, which is home to the Lakers, the Sparks, and the Kings. So if you like basketball or hockey, that's all just like less than 15-minute walk. We went there last night to a sports bar to go watch basketball, and I was so shocked that it was as close as it was. Dodger Stadium, less than 10-minute drive away. So if you're coming for baseball, also a wonderful spot to come. So many other attractions that I looked up, like big ones in LA, Griffith Observatory, downtown Hollywood, the Hollywood sign. Those are a little bit further, but still like within 30 minutes, which in LA is very close. This place is quite spread out. So yeah, the walkability here though is a huge plus in terms of getting to go shopping, go to bars. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of shopping, there's also a little store downstairs called Paper 8, and they have all these really cool like LA, what is it? It's all like handmade little gifts. They have mystery bags, that type of thing, lots of cool t-shirts, and they will print the t-shirts there. And a lot of the merchandise that they sell is based on famous movies and books. So very LA store, and I really like that. So that's directly downstairs in the lobby. So a lot going on here. You're never going to be bored staying at the Freehand. There is 24-hour security on site. So again, I mentioned that downtown can be, it has a reputation for not being as safe as other parts of the city, which I think is true of pretty much every other downtown in the world, especially for major cities. So really nice that they have 24-hour security. It did feel very safe. They lock the doors that allow you to get to the elevator after 10 p.m. There's always 2 people in the lobby at the front desk. There is a doorman and the valet guy. They're always hanging out right by the front door. So yeah, I didn't feel unsafe in any way while staying here. This hotel has such great value. I mean, this is something that I think a ton of budget travelers could pick. And for what you get, it doesn't feel like a budget experience. Like you get so much out of this stay. And what's really interesting is that it's also a hostel. So if you did want to stay and really, you're really on a budget and you don't mind sharing a room with others, they have their bunk rooms here. They had multiple options on the website. There's like a female quad room. There's one that's a female room that you can book out the whole thing. So if you come with your friends and you all want to share one room, you can do that. Tons of options, super cheap. Like this room, for example, so this is the deluxe king room with all these gorgeous city views. They have multiple other options for skyline and city views. But this room in the high summer season, it's going to go for about $400 a night. but we got this for like, I think less than $150 in the off season. Right now it's March. So that's a huge discount and so affordable. $150 a night is a ganga deal, I think, really anywhere. So for what you get too with this great big room, I can't even imagine how cheap the bunk rates went. So we could put those up on the screen later once I look those up. But yeah, super affordable. The value is incredible. You get the rooftop pool, you get access to that, you get discounts for when you stay here. Really good prices though at all of the restaurants. You have a gym on site. The gym is small, not really anything to write home about, but it's still a gym. And it had a lot going on. Like they had a whole weight rack, multiple treadmills, lots of room to get a workout in for sure. It's in the basement. There's also a lounge in the basement. So if you need to get some work done, you're working from home. They had that whole area with a kitchen. So if you are staying in the hostel side of the hotel, you can use the kitchen in the lounge downstairs. Also a great big refrigerator there. So they just like have all these things where I just kept stumbling upon all these amenities here and thinking like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they have all this. We went to Little Tokyo last night just to get mochi and walk around and look at the lanterns, and it was a lot of fun. That was maybe a 7-minute drive, but it would have been a 34-minute walk. There's also Koreatown nearby and Chinatown. So those are 3 big spots to check out in Los Angeles, which if you're interested in places to stay or things to do in LA, make sure that you check out my guide on the website. There is so much to do in this great big city. And if you're staying downtown, then you're probably going to want to stick to doing things in this area just because traffic can make it hard to expand out. But the good thing is there's so much around this hotel. So again, check out those articles on travellemming.com. Some of the cons of staying here. So I will tell you, this room was a bit loud. You can hear the traffic down on the street. We are on the 5th floor. I believe it goes up to 18 floors. So maybe if I was way higher up, it wouldn't have been like this. But this one certainly, I mean, you got ambulances going by, lots of sirens. There was a lot of honking this morning. I don't know if it's always like that downtown. I assume it would be. Look it, right on cue. But it didn't bother me. But if that is something that you're sensitive about, I would bring earplugs. In terms of the room itself, the bed wasn't super comfortable. I loved the pillows. I didn't show those in the room tour, but the pillows are not super puffy or anything. They're quite large and like they just fit my head perfectly. I really like the pillows. But the bed, like the mattress itself, was a little bit lumpy. I don't know. It just didn't feel, it felt like kind of a cheap mattress. I still slept okay. My boyfriend said he did not sleep very well though. So that is something to note. If you're somebody who really, really cares about having like your mattress super firm or super plush, that might be an issue for you. But all super clean. Like the shower last night, even though it's like, it looks old and outdated, it does. But I kind of love that. I think that it just adds to the personality of the hotel. Despite everything kind of looking old, not even any dust in this room. I was really like inspecting in the shower to see if there was hair or anything. They did a great job of making this place just pristine before we checked in. But again, okay, back to cons. There aren't really any in-room amenities, like there's no mini bar. There is a small fridge, which is really nice, but nothing in it. There are toiletries. They're okay. I used them yesterday. Didn't love them. And when I looked at the information about them, like they're made well with good ingredients, but it's not necessarily like a luxury brand or anything, which I wasn't expecting, so totally fine. But yeah, there's no hair dryer, there's no robes. But yeah, very basic amenities in the room. But again, like considering all of the space and the views around me, I'm not focused on that type of thing. Like I love the look of this room and where it's situated, and that matters a lot more to me than having a bunch of little knickknacks in the room. There's also no hot tub upstairs, it's just the pool. A hot tub would always be great. Hot tubs make everything better. I wish that hotels would always put a hot tub in, but that is one thing to note. There's no spa if you want to go get a massage, no room service. So, you know, some of those things people might think are like always included in a hotel, but I think because this hotel is also like has the hostel vibe, it's pretty much going to give you like the most basic experiences. They're not going to deliver room service to a hostel room. I've never heard of that. So yeah, it makes sense why they wouldn't have those things. All in all, I really loved this hotel. From the second I walked in, I was just like, this place is beautiful. Like it's so gorgeously designed. The lobby really felt like home with that warm lighting that I was talking about before and kind of that like old lodge feeling. Little notes here and there of the tiled floors and the clocks on the walls and the gorgeous ceilings. Like there's so many little details before you even get to your room that are just like, wow, this is like historic downtown Los Angeles. And I think there's something so special about that. And then yes, you get to your room. It's not like it's the most grand room that you've ever seen. And the carpet's old and, you know, this seating is a little bit outdated and maybe the shutters look a little bit like they could get some love, but it's clean and it's spacious and the views are just, I wish you could see them. I know it's getting blown out in this video right now, but I obviously am gonna overlap this with some of my videos from yesterday and today. But these views are just so cool. And I love how it's just like the true downtown feeling staying here. Upstairs, oh man, I could stay up on that rooftop forever. It was just so lovely, especially at sunset. I think you're gonna love hanging out there, whether you're by yourself, with your friends, your family, whoever. It just feels so good up on that rooftop with those views and that pool. Also, the Freehand does not know that we're filming here. This is not something that they sponsored in any way. This is completely paid for by Travel Lemmings. So this review is completely my honest opinion, but I really did love it here. And I would recommend it to anyone coming to stay here. I truly would. So you can book the Freehand or any hotel for that matter through Travel Lemming. It really does help us out because we get a small portion of the fee that you pay because you use our affiliate link. You of course don't have to do that, but if you are gonna book through Booking, we would really appreciate that. It helps us out a lot and allows us to keep doing hotel reviews like this one. And I understand not everyone wants to stay in downtown Los Angeles. Not everyone wants to stay in downtown anywhere. Maybe you want to be on the outskirts of the city. I totally get that. Be closer to the beach. Of course, like there's so much that LA has to offer. So definitely check out my Where to Stay in Los Angeles article after this so that you can get a better feel of all of the great places to stay here in this beautiful city that I call home. And hopefully you can get a better feel for what would match your personality and your vibe for the perfect trip here. I've got more videos on Where to Stay in Los Angeles, so make sure you watch this one next.